When I saw the fragile white lotus being cornered by thugs in the alleyway, I didn't scream. I did not dial the police. I calmly raised my phone and hit record. At the same time, translucent words drifted across my vision like comments from some unseen live broadcast that only I could see. Yes, this is it. The hero is about to appear. Redemption arc incoming. Wait, why is the villainess here first? She is filming. The heroine is finished. Relax. This is just tension building. The more shameless the villainous acts now, the more satisfying the payback later, waiting for karma. Same. So that makes me the villain. I curled my lips into a faint smile and glanced back at the 6 towering bodyguards standing behind me. Take them somewhere out of sight, I said evenly. Break a few bones if you want. Just do not kill anyone. The comment stream instantly went wild. She is insane. Villainous, have you no humanity? Hero, hurry up. Save our precious girl. Am I the only one enjoying this? The rivalry is getting spicy. The men in the alley froze and turned around. Their expressions changed the moment they noticed the wall of muscle behind me. The leader, a blonde man with a sleazy grin, glanced between the shaking girl pressed against the wall and my entourage. Well damn, he said with a laugh. Beautiful lady. What did this little thing do to you? Bringing this many guys, she might snap in half. His companion snickered. Besides, we got here first. Yeah. The girl, Sophie Hayes, had been clawing and cursing moments ago. Now she stood stiff, terror written all over her face. Tears pulled in her eyes, but she stubbornly refused to let them fall like a lamb waiting for slaughter. I remembered a rule from the villain's survival guide. Speak less. Do it. My bodyguards moved instantly, sweeping forward like a dark wave. The 3 thugs were lifted off the ground as easily as dolls and dragged deeper into the alley shadows. They panicked, kicking wildly. Hey, what the hell? Open your eyes. I'm a guy. This is unfair. Let go. Strong hands clamped over their mouths, followed by low chuckles. We are not picky. Silence returned to the alley. Only the wind remained, ruffling Sophie's hair. The floating comments froze, filling the screen with disbelief. Sophie looked just as stunned. Her school uniform was torn, one shoulder exposed and fragile looking. There were scrapes on her face, blood at her nose. She slowly sank to the ground, staring at me as if she could not process what had happened. I took off my blazer and draped it over her. Put this on. The moment she accepted it, her restraint broke. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Then more followed. Her shoulders trembled violently. That kind of shaking only came after surviving something truly terrifying. I recognized it well. Vivian, thank you. She whispered. She bowed her head, sobbing softly. Even wrapped in my jacket, her thin frame looked painfully fragile. I raised my hand to comfort her, then stopped. I hated unnecessary contact. My hand dropped back to my side. The comments returned. Poor baby, do not cry. Cry harder. The hero will arrive any second. Tears are the strongest weapon. Idiots. I lowered my gaze and organized my thoughts. This world was nothing more than a predictable romance novel. Sophie Hayes was the classic pure heroine born to suffer, so she could grow stronger. Gavin Pierce was the male lead, the powerful savior destined to pull her from every nightmare. And I, Vivian Sterling, was assigned the role of villainess, the obstacle, the disaster waiting to happen. Because of me, misunderstandings would pile up. Sophie would endure loss after loss. Gavin would regret everything later, beg for forgiveness, and they would walk into a perfect ending hand in hand. As for me, my future held financial ruin, family collapse, and a lifelong stay in a psychiatric ward. Fantastic. So the man loses nothing at all. With that thought, I handed my phone to Sophie. I recorded everything. If you want to. I did not get to finish. A furious voice exploded behind me. Vivian Sterling. I turned slowly, eyebrow lifting. Gavin Pierce had arrived. The comment stream erupted in celebration. It is him. So handsome. Those legs should be illegal. I want to drown in his abs. He is going to comfort her now. They really needed professional help. I frowned at the floating text, but Gavin misunderstood completely. To him, it looked like jealousy. He shoved me aside and grabbed Sophie by the shoulders. Sophie, are you hurt? What did she do to you? Before Sophie could speak, his eyes fell on the phone screen, still playing the video. The footage showed the thugs tearing at Sophie's clothes, laughing obscenely. Fresh meat, one of them said. Let Big Brother teach you. Sophie screamed, struggling. The police station is right there. Touch me and you will never pass a background check. She was slapped across the face. I am already trash. The man laughed. Who cares? I sighed inwardly. Sophie's logic was impressive and bizarre at the same time. She clutched my jacket tightly, glancing at me with wide eyes. Gavin's face darkened with rage. He reached for my phone, but I stepped back. What are you doing? I asked, stealing in public? Not worried about a criminal record. The future heir of Pierce Group did not appreciate the reminder. He snapped at me, voice shaking with anger. Vivian, I know you are jealous because I like Sophie, but take it out on me. Do not target her. If you dare ruin her reputation with that video, he continued, do not blame me when I destroy you. He was moving like a character in a game. Predictable and scripted. The floating comments went into overdrive. Domineering CEO protecting the girl. So hot. Only the hero could protect her like this. Sophie, just marry him already. Annoying. I raised my hand and with a sharp smack, the sound rang through the alley. 5 clear finger marks appeared across Gavin's face. You, I muttered, holding my nose in disgust. Step back. Your breath is awful. Gavin instinctively raised a hand to retaliate. But Sophie squeezed in between us, small and determined. Gavin, you've got it all wrong. Vivian saved me. Without her. She pressed her lips together, eyes red. Then she looked at me. Vivian, can you send me the video? I need it for the police. Finally, the White Lotus had some common sense. Police? Gavin asked, confused. When he realized the truth, his expression darkened. Sophie, I forbid you from reporting this. You don't know Vivian, she replied firmly. If anyone finds out, it could ruin you. People talk. He glared at me as if I were the one trying to destroy his precious flower. Sophie blinked. Gavin, they attacked me. I'm the victim. How would that ruin my reputation? He faltered. Sophie, you don't understand. If you report this, people will judge. They'll say you're tainted. I decided to push a little further. Unfortunately, he's right, Sophie. The Pierce family doesn't let damaged goods through their doors. Gavin didn't argue. He simply stared at Sophie, expecting submission. Sophie, trust me, I can handle it. No one will find out, he said earnestly. But Sophie ignored him, glancing timidly at me. Vivian, I think you misunderstood. I'm not interested in Gavin. I just want to study. And if a thug touches me, that doesn't make me tainted. That makes the thug filthy. Gavin had clearly underestimated Sophie. Sophie, I'm trying to protect you. If you stay stubborn, you'll regret it, he warned, storming off with long strides. You're sure about this? I asked. Sophie nodded vigorously. Vivian, I've seen them bully other girls before. I was too scared to stand up. If it weren't for you, I don't know what would have happened today. She sniffled, her nose twitching like a small rabbit. I want to report it. Protect others. But your people, what they did to those guys, will that get you in trouble? Relax. It was just a scare. The best way to deal with predators is to make them the joke, I said. Sophie exhaled softly. Whoa, my bodyguards were mostly law-abiding. The thugs ended up bruised. That's all. We went to the police station together. Other girls stepped forward with similar stories. Finally, the authorities and school board took action. When the beaten thugs were hauled away, they screamed. Officers! Too late. Save us. Back in class, the students erupted with excitement. Who did it? Who beat them? Step forward so we can bow. Someone demanded. Sophie, shaking but brave, pointed at me. The class gasped. Soon, led by someone, the girls began chanting. Queen Vivian, Queen Vivian, Queen Vivian. My face flushed. I sat down with a sigh. High school drama. So over the top, so ridiculous. Sophie's voice was the loudest, her excitement palpable. For the briefest moment, the corner of my mouth lifted in a small, knowing smirk. The alleyway incident faded into memory. It was senior year. Workloads were brutal. Most students' eyes glazed over from endless SAT prep. As a transfer, I kept to myself. Some tried to approach me, but my resting cold glare discouraged them. Sophie, however, petitioned to sit beside me. Vivian, let's work hard for college, she said, fist pumping, eyes sparkling with hope. I scoffed. Have you considered that I don't need to take the SAT? Her sparkle dimmed for a moment. Then she nodded. Oh right. People with money have wide roads. Others must cross single log bridges. Then did you transfer here for him? She asked carefully, avoiding Gavin's name, probably fearing my reaction. I had transferred to this elite high school as a senior. Rumor had it the eyes of the Sterling family came chasing the school king Gavin Pierce with unrequited infatuation. So I kept my face frozen and my distance protecting a heart that had never been broken. The audacity, my so-called love. I had once gotten drunk at a club, run into Gavin, thought the Pierce family had gone bankrupt, flirted a little, then promptly forgot about it. I'm a poser myself. Why fall for someone faker than me? And fighting another woman over a man. Not my style. Plenty of fish in the sea. If one sucks, toss it back. Sophie stared at me, wide-eyed and full of admiration. Vivian, you're amazing. I'll follow you forever. I coughed lightly. Perfect. Comments floated by. Wait, did I walk into a jail story? Where's the rivalry? It's all the villainous fault. Plot derailed. I'm out. Don't leave. Wait and see. The hero won't give up. Just watch. Who would have guessed? The delicate White Lotus could talk nonstop. After she became my desk mate, she stayed quiet for exactly half a day. Then the floodgates opened. Vivian, how many legs does a sheep have? I rolled my eyes spectacularly. Tell me. She poked my shoulder repeatedly. Poke, poke, poke. For I muttered. How much wool? All of it. I answered annoyed. Why? How would I know? Because it's 100% wool, she said, grinning like she'd cracked the greatest joke in history. I froze. The students in the front row laughed until they were doubled over. Was Sophie thought you were a nerd? Didn't expect jokes. I turned away coldly, muttering under my breath about children. Yet that night, alone in my room, I buried my face in my pillow and snorted like an idiot. 100% wool. A terrible pun. And somehow it nearly broke me. The next day, Sophie looked pale and wilted. She rested her head on her desk, clutching her stomach. Feeling sick, I asked. She nodded softly. Period cramps. Then as if worried fuss, she added. It's fine. I can handle it. Sweat dotted her forehead. Her face was pale. I went out and returned with painkillers and a hot water bottle. Take these. She accepted them, smiling. Thanks, Vivian. You're beautiful inside and out. I scoffed. If she could still flirt and joke, she wasn't truly suffering. Once the meds kicked in, she went back to grinding through her practice tests. During a long break, Sophie headed to the bathroom. Some boys whistled in the hallway. Wah, she leaked. Gross, look at that stain. Her face flushed crimson as she instinctively touched her pants. The floating comments were merciless. She can't even afford pads using toilet paper. Risky and humiliating. Don't worry, the hero will buy them for her. Give me a considerate boyfriend too. Period. Poverty was suddenly real. I had always assumed it was just newsprint. Never thought I'd witness it firsthand. Sophie, I called from the classroom window, leaning out as she tried to escape. I handed her my blazer. She hesitated at the luxury logo. Impatient, I shoved it into her arms and motioned at the loudest boy in the hallway. You come here. The surrounding boys murmured in anticipation. The boy approached smirking. What can I do for you, your highness? Sarcastic little punk. Slap. I struck him across the face. What are you laughing at? Didn't your mother teach you respect? His face turned from embarrassment to fury. Vivian, are you insane? What does it matter if I laugh? You think being rich makes you above me? I sneered. You rely on being a boy to bully her. I rely on money. Problem. Speechless. He stormed back into the classroom. The others quickly scattered. From that day on, I earned a new nickname. The Slap Princess. The boys called me a beautiful viper behind my back and kept their distance. Ha. At least some survival instincts remain intact. Fragile little men. Evening study hall. I carried 2 boxes of menstrual discs and gave Sophie a tutorial. She blushed furiously. I don't know how. Do you want me to do it for you? My patience snapped. Compared to pads, discs hold more, are cleaner, and last longer. 1 disc could save money for years. I was lecturing seriously. Yet classmates stared as if I had lost my mind. Whoa. What channel are we on? They're putting things in where? Your mind is dirty. I just see friendship blooming. I glared. Seeing my irritation, Sophie quickly stuffed the items into her desk and tugged my sleeve, smiling up at me. Don't be mad, your highness. Your humble servant understands. Thank you for your mercy. I wouldn't dare trouble your jade hands. When people are completely speechless, laughter follows naturally. The corner of my mouth twitched, and the gossip mongas caught it immediately. Ice Queen becomes doting mentor. Academic rivalries have never been this dramatic. I ship it. Sophie beamed. I never ate cafeteria food. Every meal came from home, prepared by a private chef, and delivered by a driver. After learning Sophie survived on plain rice and watery soup, I told the chef to double my portions. When I opened the lunchbox, the food looked flawless. Meat, vegetables, colors balanced like a magazine spread. Sophie stared, openly envious. I slid the box toward her. Eat. To stop her from overthinking, I added coldly. This is charity. Understand? She nodded enthusiastically like a toy springing back up. This humble servant understands. Thank you for the charity. Your highness. Me. Sophie, do you have any dignity left? She was way too easy to feed. Someone was going to scam her one day. Her chopsticks flew as she devoured the food. Then she suddenly stopped looking serious. Vivian and I know the difference between kindness and humiliation. Maybe I suffered so much before just so heaven could send someone like you to me. Her eyes curved into happy crescent before she buried her face back into the food. So good. My ears heated up. My villainous persona nearly cracked. Now I understood why emperors like flattering ministers. I liked them too. Thus began the era of sycophant Sophie, my personal shadow. Everywhere I went, Sophie followed, head lowered, lips moving as she recited English words or historical dates. Sophie. I stopped at the classroom door. She walked straight into my back, then instinctively patted it like a loyal attendant. Your highness, I am here. Me. In your universe, how long do people go to prison for walking with their head down? Her eyes spun as she grinned. Life without parole. I laughed in disbelief. Read fewer web novels. She clapped her hands. Your highness smiled. You look so happy. Stand up straight. Yes, ma'am. Nearby students whispered loudly. The nerd actually tamed the princess. Sophie is the real alpha now. This ship is good for my mental health. Sophie beamed. Me. I had to admit Sophie was clever. Walking beside me meant no one dared touch her. Gavin barely appeared anymore. The girls who used to hover around him stopped bothering her. She had time to focus on studying. In the monthly exams, Sophie placed 5th in the entire grade. She ran over, barely containing herself. Vivian, do you know what rank you got? I looked up lazily. What? First, you're number 1. How are you number 1 when you sleep all day? I waved dismissively. Guess. I was not about to explain pay-to-win mechanics, private tutors, premium materials, studying until midnight every night. Of course, I slept through the day. I was the grand villainess, the rich girl. Losing was not an option. Image mattered. Sophie's admiration reached new heights. Muttering about divine rewards and diligence, she plunged back into her practice papers like a possessed scholar. The supposed rivalry between heroine and villainess intensified. Yet without screaming matches or hair-pulling drama, the floating comments disappeared for a long time. Peace at last. Naturally, that meant trouble was coming. After winter break, Sophie missed 2 days of school. The teacher said she had taken leave for family matters. Sophie had no phone. I could not contact her. The comments drifted back in. Here it comes. The plot where the family sells the daughter. Hero arc activated. Fate intervenes, but the villainous and heroine are weirdly cute together. Get out. This is not that genre. Read fanfiction elsewhere. Selling the daughter. Sophie never imagined her mother would go this far. She worked the entire winter break, every shift, every overtime hour. She finally saved enough for next semester's tuition. She even bought a crystal hair clip for Vivian. It sparkled beautifully in the sunlight, just like her. Her mother crushed it underfoot and snatched the money from Sophie's hands, licking her fingers to count the bills. Her mother never even looked up. I raised you and your brother alone. I suffered so much and you waste money on hair clips. Your brother is entering middle school. Later, he needs a house, a wife. Everything costs money. He's your brother. As the older sister, you should contribute. Sophie had heard these words until they lost all meaning. Mom, what are you talking about? Her mother grabbed the money and forced Sophie's eyelids open. You remember Aunt Wong from her hometown? She found you a job at an electronics factory. Easy work, food, and lodging included. The condition is marriage to her son. Sophie froze. Aunt Wang's son had cognitive disabilities and was over 10 years older than her. Her vision swam. I want to go to school. I'm not getting married. I earned that tuition money. She reached for the bills. Her mother slapped her hard. Grow up. Stop causing trouble. Then her mother began to cry. If it weren't for you, would your father be in prison? Because of you, we suffered. You ruined your brother's future. I moved us here so people wouldn't laugh at you. Have you forgotten how much I endured? Sophie laughed. A hollow, broken sound that seemed to fracture her chest. Mom, how long are you going to manipulate me? Dad committed crime. Beat you every day. Even without me, he would have been caught. Her mother's voice remained sharp. Did you move for yourself? No. You moved because you couldn't bear seeing your precious brother bullied. When you were sick years ago, I worked every cent for his tuition. Are we really poor? Then why does he always have the newest shoes and consoles? And now, just before my SATs, you want me to drop out for him? Sophie's voice rose, trembling. Why, Mom? I'm your child too. I follow the rules. I work hard to please you. Why don't you love me? Her mother snorted, unmoved. Because you're a girl. He's a son. He's the hope of the family. Silence swallowed Sophie. For 2 days, she stayed locked in her room, not speaking. She thought of Vivian, the cold, arrogant girl whose wealth shielded her from everything. Yet Vivian had once said, birth doesn't define happiness. The harder life hits a girl, the sharper her fangs must be to carve out a future. Night fell. Sophie made a daring choice. She tore her sheets into strips, braided them into a rope, and lowered it out the window. Hands trembling. She climbed down from the 3rd floor. Her feet hit the ground, knees weak, heart hammering. Her brother's panicked shout rang out. Mom's sister ran away. He barreled out first, round and clumsy. Sis, stop. You can't leave. You have to earn money for me. You're selfish. I'm selfish. Sophie's eyes burned red. She struck him hard. His arm went numb. Her mother rushed out, wailing. You little brat. That's your brother. Hitting him like your worthless father. Words like daggers. She blamed Sophie for their father's imprisonment, and then called her a copy of him. Fine. Sophie would be like him. She brandished scissors to her brother's neck. Frozen. He peed his pants, screaming. Mom, help. She'll kill me. Her mother's knees buckled. Sophie, you're insane. That's your brother. Neighbors flicked on lights. Sophie's laugh was icy. Scream. Let everyone see Su Yao is the son of a murderer. Her mother went silent. Sophie pressed the scissors closer. Give me my tuition or I'll stab him and go to prison. Bloodshot eyes, veins taut. She stood her ground. Her brother's screams convinced her mother. Sophie grabbed the money, kicked him aside, and bolted. Her mother wailed after her. My precious baby, are you hurt? Stop crying. Mom's heart is breaking. Sophie ran, leaving her tears behind. From this moment, she had no home. Maybe she never had one. Her mother never once called her precious baby. Out of the complex, Sophie crashed into a warm embrace. Looking up, she met Vivian's eyes. Sophie, it's me. All her pent-up grief burst forth. Sophie clung to me, sobbing until she could barely breathe. I wrapped her in my arms, patting her back gently. Her words spilled like blood from 18 years of pain. Vivian, I try so hard but she still doesn't love me. Why are daughters born to clear the path for sons? Mom is a woman too. Why does she hate me so much? Some people never deserve the title of parent. Pleasing them is useless. Sophie's tears were the release of years of suppression. I held her as she crumpled, just as she had once supported me in my own darkest moments. Sophie, let me tell you a story. 9 years ago, I had been kidnapped by my family's enemies. A huge ransom was demanded. Blindfolded, I was thrown into a dry well in a remote village. Darkness surrounded me. Only a tiny circle of sky was visible. I cried until my throat went raw. Only the insects and birds replied. After a day and night without food, a small head appeared above. Sister, don't be afraid. I'll help you get out, a girl said crisply, tossing down a corn cake. Eat first. I'll call the authorities. I choked down the food with tears streaming. Soon, shouting erupted from above. You little nuisance, you're ruining my business. I'm doing this to feed you ungrateful brats. A thump followed. I ducked instinctively. A small girl lay sprawled on the ground. Half her face was swollen, mouth bleeding. She winced, struggling to sit upright. Sorry, there's only one phone. My dad caught me, she said. She was the kidnapper's daughter, a chatterbox squatting beside me. She told me everything. Her chickens, her ducks, her perfect grades. Finally, she looked at me with admiration. Sister, you're so kind to listen. I have no friends. My parents only care about my brother. You're pretty and you want to be my friend. You're a good person. Me. At night. She asked if I was afraid of the dark. I nodded, then shook my head. Her presence made the darkness bearable. Moonlight filtered into the well. Stand on my shoulders. Climb out, she instructed. I looked at the tall well opening and her frail frame. I hesitated. Hurry, Dad went gambling. If he comes back, you can't leave. She tugged my sleeve. What about you? She smiled. It's fine. I'll get a beating anyway. Just go. I carefully stepped on her shoulders and after several tries, scrambled out. Wait, I'll help you up. I said. No, I'll manage when it's light. Run. Follow the road to town. I ran a few steps, then paused. What's her name? Sophie Hayes. After my escape, the authorities uncovered the mastermind behind it all, my father. He had planned for his illegitimate son to inherit the family fortune. So he kidnapped me to pressure my mother into surrendering her shares. Once exposed, my father raged as he was taken away, pointing at me while shouting at my mother. Your womb is worthless. You gave birth to a thing with no worth. Do you expect her to hold the family fortune? He seemed to forget that it was my mother who had built the company from nothing. But I never forgot. I remembered my mother enduring his relentless insults as if a woman's strength were a sin. I remembered his illegitimate son attempting to harm me for revenge. I remembered him drugging my mother to ruin her reputation, turning her into a target for humiliation. Memories came flooding back. 9-year-old me had seized a fruit knife and plunged it into his stomach. He collapsed, screaming in pain. I wanted to strike again, but my mother intervened, eyes blazing red. She pressed down on the knife, driving it deeper. Shouting, "You should never have touched my daughter. You are unfit to be a husband or father." Father and his illegitimate son went to prison. Mother used her influence to suppress the news. I adopted her surname. Rumors circulated. Vivian Sterling, ruthless, had stabbed her father at 9. Not only had I struck him, I made sure his illegitimate son suffered too. I regretted only that I hadn't been strong enough sooner. Overnight, friends disappeared. Mother considered sending me abroad, but I hadn't done anything wrong. I saw no reason to hide. And maybe it was this courage that allowed me to reunite with my best friend. The night wind whispered. The moon hung high, bathing Sophie and me in silver light, just like a decade ago. Her head rested on my shoulder with hair brushing my cheek. And she tried to lighten the mood. "Your Highness, this has to be a redemption story. Billionaire CEO falls for poor little me." I lightly tapped her head. "You're ridiculous." She tilted her head wide-eyed. "Your Highness, you didn't transfer schools just for me, right?" I pushed her gently. "Stop being so vain." She opened her palm, revealing a rhinestone hair clip with one stone missing. "Your Highness, you didn't abandon me. Please take this. I'll replace it with real diamonds when I make enough money." Her earnest gesture, like a beautifully painted pancake, made me smile. That night, dorms locked. Sophie came home with me. My mother was busy overseas, leaving the mansion empty except for me, the butler, and the staff. The old butler smiled at Sophie's timid following. "Miss Sophie, you are the first friend the young miss has brought home." Sophie's eyes widened, nervousness melting. "I will serve the young miss well, uncle," she said brightly. Her mother didn't interfere. But Gavin Pierce stood. Comments from the invisible stream flew past, but I ignored them. In the hallway he scowled. "Vivian, move. I want to talk to Sophie alone." I looked helpless. "Do I look like I won't move?" Sophie clutched my jacket like a lifeline. We were playing eagle and chick, and I was the eagle. She peeked from behind me. "Gavin, what do you want?" He glared at me like I was the devil incarnate. "Vivian, you're manipulative. What did you do to her?" I resisted the urge to slap him. He had heard about the scissors incident from the neighbors. "How could you be so reckless? What if you hurt yourself? Why didn't you tell me? Come with me. I'll protect you. I'll pay your tuition." The perfect school king line delivery. Comments erupted. "Gah." Sophie looked at me, then at Gavin, blushing deeply. "I just want to study," she said firmly. "Stay away. I don't want to deal with your nonsense." The comments instantly went wild. "No, villainous. Give us our pure heroine. Stop corrupting her. Hero only likes pure girls." Even Gavin looked bewildered. "Sophie, did studying fry your brain? What nonsense are you talking about?" She and I exchanged a glance, pity in our eyes. Finally, his face flushed red, jaw tight, and he stomped off. Sophie pressed against my side. "Your Highness, see that? He's useless. Why did you ever like him?" Her hand crept toward my waist. "Like me instead. I serve better." I shivered and gently moved her hand. "I'm straight. Step away." She went playfully. "Your Highness, so domineering." "I like it." I sighed. The fragile white lotus had clearly transformed into a cunning yellow flower. The cunning yellow flower studied relentlessly, topping the city's exams, and was accepted into an Ivy League. I went abroad for business school, managing our overseas branch. Sophie updated me tirelessly on her vocabulary. Yet it didn't stop her from becoming a brilliant lawyer. She opened a firm, made it successful, and eventually dedicated herself to charity. She defended the underprivileged for free and established the Vivian and Sophie Foundation. Funds built schools, sponsored girls in remote areas, provided hygiene kits, and supported female entrepreneurs. I was undeniably her sugar mama. At the inauguration of a girls' school in the mountains, Sophie stood on stage, radiant. "Girls, never let gender or prejudice define your worth. We are born strong. Lift your heads, straighten your backs, and claim your futures. Struggle. Support each other. Grip the blade of fate and sharpen it yourselves. Go forth and write magnificent chapters on the peaks of mountains." Applause thundered. When I returned home, Sophie had secretly hired male models as a welcome party. As I walked out of the airport, they shouted in unison, "Welcome home, Your Highness." And the yellow flower at the front yelled the loudest. Oh my God, so wild. I loved it.